Growing up, I learned early that love in my family came with conditions. If you were loud, charming, effortlessly magnetic like my younger brother Ryan, you were adored. If you were quiet, dependable, maybe a little awkward like me, you were useful. That was the role I grew into, not the daughter to dote on, not the sister to show off, but the steady hand in the background keeping everything running. Ryan was 5 years younger than me, but it didn't feel that way. From the time he was born, the spotlight belonged to him. He had this golden glow about him that made people soften when he walked into a room. Teachers adored him. Relatives cooed over him. My parents bent reality to suit him. When he broke a neighbor's window playing baseball indoors, it was, boys will be boys. When I missed curfew once by 10 minutes because I was helping a classmate finish a project, I was grounded for a week. Ryan could crash the family car and be met with forgiveness and life lessons. I could get an A, instead of an A, and be asked what I did wrong. Still, I loved him. I went to his games. I helped him cheat on chemistry quizzes. I covered for him when he came home drunk and puked all over the carpet. I remember once sitting outside the ER with him at 2 a.m. after he had a panic attack and didn't want to tell mom and dad because he thought they'd call him weak. But there's only so long you can love people who treat you like furniture before something inside you starts to erode. So when I turned 25, I quietly moved away. Took a job in another city. Met a man who saw me, not just what I could offer. We got married 2 years later, moved into a modest but beautiful apartment with big windows and soft light. We got a dog. I started going to therapy. I started breathing. I didn't cut my family off, but I stopped trying so hard. No more calls that went unanswered. No more bending over backwards to be included. I still came home for Christmas. I still sent birthday gifts. I still stayed polite, stayed helpful, but I let go of the dream that they'd ever see me as more than a prop in Ryan's story. So when he called me out of nowhere one Monday evening, I nearly didn't pick up. I remember staring at the caller ID, Ryan, little brother, and hesitating. I hadn't heard his voice in months. When I answered, he was cheerful. Almost sheepish. Hey, so. Bella and I finally set a date for the wedding. His voice carried that familiar mix of nerves and excitement, and for some reason, my chest tightened. Oh wow, congrats. I said, genuinely. That's amazing. When is it? Mid-September. It's gonna be at this vineyard called Blue Grove. Really small, just close friends and family. You'll love it. We'd really love for you to be there. That last sentence landed like a small miracle. We'd really love for you to be there. You're important to me. He hadn't said anything like that to me in years. And I believed him. Something about the sincerity in his voice, the fact that he called me personally, made me think, maybe things were changing. Maybe he was growing up. Maybe this wedding would be a fresh start. I told my husband Darren about the call later that night. Maybe this is finally the moment, I said. Maybe we'll finally be family. Like, real family. He gave me a soft smile and squeezed my hand. You've always deserved that. So I jumped in. Booked a room at a cute little B&B just 10 minutes from the venue. I bought a new dress, a soft sage green midi with flutter sleeves and delicate embroidery that felt just right for a late summer vineyard wedding. Bella had sent out a digital style guide, complete with color palettes and mood boards. I followed it to a T. I even splurged on nude heels and a matching wrap. I told my manager at work I'd need 2 days off. It wasn't easy, September is a busy time for us, but I made it happen. A week before the wedding, Ryan texted. Hey, could you come early the morning of? We're short-handed on setup. I replied instantly. Absolutely. I'll be there first thing. I woke up early that Saturday, dressed in leggings and a tank top, hair tied up, makeup light. I skipped breakfast and brought a large iced coffee and a reusable water bottle. The drive to the vineyard was peaceful, rolling hills, morning mist, golden sunlight spilling through tall trees. Blue Grove Vineyards was beautiful, just like Ryan had described. Rows of white chairs were already set up, half decorated with eucalyptus and baby's breath. The barn for the reception had high ceilings and rustic chandeliers. I parked and found Bella immediately. She was pacing, clipboard in hand, her expression tight. Two girls nearby, probably her cousins, were moving flower arrangements and looking like they wanted to cry. "Hi Bella," I said, cheerful. She looked up, blinked, and said flatly, "Oh. You're here. Good." Then she handed me a box. "Centerpieces. Reception barn. Try not to stack them too close together, we want space for the photographer to move around." And that was it. No hug. No thank you. No, so glad you made it. But I told myself, it's just wedding stress. People get weird. Brides get frazzled. Don't take it personally. So I smiled. I took the box. And I got to work. For 3 hours, I moved like a ghost through the vineyard. I carried flower crates, unfolded chairs, arranged place settings. I tied twine around little jars of honey with custom tags that read, "Spread the love, R&B forever." I even climbed a ladder, twice, to adjust the string lights when someone said they looked uneven in the photos. I wasn't bitter. Not yet. I was exhausted, sure. Sweaty. Hungry. But I kept telling myself, you're part of this. You're helping make this day special. I genuinely wanted Ryan and Bella to have a beautiful wedding, even if no one said thank you. But then something started to feel off. At first it was small things. Everyone else working had name badges. Professionally printed lanyards with clear plastic holders that read, "Wedding party, bridesmaid, vendor, cousin, usher." Bella's teenage cousin had a badge. Even the guy from the taco truck had one. Me? Nothing. No badge. No lanyard. Not even a sticker. I asked one of Bella's bridesmaids, Emily, where I should place a box of extra favors. She blinked like she didn't recognize me and said, maybe check with the planner." That's when it clicked, no one knew who I was. I was just another pair of hands. Still, I pushed it down. I told myself not to make a big deal. But as the setup began to wind down and people started freshening up for photos, I realized something else. No one had told me where to go next. I asked one of Bella's cousins if there was a changing area for helpers. She gave me a confused look. "Oh, are you with the florist?" I blinked. "No. I'm the groom's sister." Her mouth opened. Then closed. She gave a tight, awkward smile and muttered, "Oh," before walking away. I stood there, clutching a box of welcome signs, my stomach tightening. And then I saw it. A clipboard. Left unattended on the corner of the welcome table. It had the final itinerary, contact list, and a printed guest list clipped to the back. I shouldn't have looked. I really, truly shouldn't have. But I did. Page 1, Bride's family. Page 2, Groom's family. Page 3, Close friends. Page 4, Vendors. I flipped through each, eyes scanning, searching for my name. Marissa. Nothing. I flipped back. Scanned again. Maybe I was grouped under +1. Maybe something was misfiled. Nothing. I wasn't on the list. Not as a guest. Not as family. Not at all. For a moment, the sounds around me went quiet, like the air was holding its breath. I could still hear people chatting, laughing, arranging chairs, but it was all background noise to the single truth blooming in my gut. I wasn't invited. I wasn't forgotten. I wasn't accidentally left off. I was excluded. My ears rang as I walked toward the main building where Ryan stood laughing with his groomsmen. He looked relaxed. Happy. Like someone who had no idea his sister had just been gutted 20 feet away. I approached slowly, trying to steady my voice. Hey, weird question. I just looked at the guest list by the welcome table. I didn't see my name. Is there another version, maybe? Ryan blinked. His face shifted, eyes narrowing, neck tensing. He scratched the back of his head the way he always did when he was nervous. Yeah. About that. I stared. Bella thought it might be better if you just helped out in the morning and then headed out before the guests arrived. You know, we're trying to keep it really intimate. Tight numbers. For a full 5 seconds, I didn't move. I don't even think I breathed. Wait, I said, you want me to help set up for your wedding, but not actually attend it? He had the audacity to look relieved, like now that the secret was out, he didn't have to pretend. Don't take it personally, he said quickly. It's not that we don't want you here, it's just, logistics. Bella's family is huge and... Ryan, I interrupted, am I a guest at your wedding or not? He hesitated. And that pause told me everything. I handed him the box of welcome signs. Looked him dead in the eye. Good luck without me. Then I turned and walked away. No tears. No scene. Just the slow, quiet unraveling of a bond I'd spent decades trying to hold together. I drove back to the B&B in a fog. My arms and legs moved mechanically. My heart felt like it was underwater, like every beat was muffled. The dress I'd bought, the one I spent 2 hours choosing, was still hanging from the closet door in its protective garment bag. I hadn't even unzipped it. That's when the realization hit, there had never been a formal invitation. No envelope. No RSVP card. No digital invite. Just a casual call. Just a favor. Just help. I had assumed I was included because why wouldn't I be? That was my mistake that I didn't cry when I got back to my room. I just sat on the edge of the bed and stared at the wall like it might offer an answer. My dress was still hanging, pale green, delicate, untouched. My makeup bag was unopened. The shoes I'd broken in the week before sat neatly beside my suitcase like they were waiting for a reason to be worn. There was no noise. Just the soft hum of the air conditioner and the distant chirp of birds from the vineyard I wasn't welcome at. I kept replaying Ryan's face in my mind. The way he said, "Don't take it personally," like this was just a small oversight. Like this wasn't a moment that would permanently reshape our relationship. Like asking me to leave before the guests arrived was a reasonable thing to do to your only sister. I couldn't decide what hurt more, being excluded, or being so easy to exclude. That's when the knock came. I opened the door to find a young woman standing there with a small envelope in hand. It was Annie, one of Bella's cousins. We'd hung signs together that morning. She'd seemed shy, kind, soft-spoken. She offered a tentative smile and said, "This is for you." I'm sorry. I didn't know. Then she left. I opened the envelope. Inside was a handwritten note. Hi. I'm really sorry. I thought you knew. If I had realized you weren't actually invited, I would have said something sooner. That was really unfair. You didn't deserve that. Annie. It was simple. No drama. No pity. Just a sliver of kindness in a day full of erasure. And for some reason, it broke me more than the exclusion itself. Because it proved someone had noticed. Someone saw. I held on to that note for a long time. Clutched it like a lifeline. Then I did something I hadn't planned to do. I opened my laptop. You see, 2 weeks earlier, Bella had sent me access to a shared Google Drive folder with all the wedding planning materials. She had asked if I could help double-check the RSVP spreadsheet. I hadn't thought much of it at the time. But now, That folder was my window into the engine room of their perfect day. Everything was there. The seating chart. The programs. The welcome letters for the hotel guests. Vendor contact lists. A full timeline of the weekend. I stared at the files. I wasn't angry in the traditional sense. I didn't want to destroy anything. I wasn't interested in revenge for the sake of drama. What I wanted was acknowledgement. Something to say, I existed. I was here. I mattered, even if they didn't think so. So I took a deep breath, and I started making edits. Not wild, not malicious. Just, precise. First, the printed program. It had a clean, modern layout, wedding party, schedule, thank you notes. There was a special mentions section at the bottom. It included Bella's piano teacher, their officiant, even her hair stylist. No mention of me. So I added one small line. With love and gratitude to the groom's sister, Marissa, for her help and support. Just enough to make someone frown and wonder, wait, who's Marissa? And where is she? Next, the seating chart. Ryan's table had a label, Family of the Groom, our most cherished. I didn't delete it. I just changed it to Family of the Groom, handpicked with care. True. Accurate. And subtle enough to slip past most people, until it didn't. Lastly, the hotel welcome packet. It had a little paragraph that read, "We're so grateful to have our closest loved ones here with us for this special celebration." I adjusted it slightly. While we wish we could celebrate with everyone who has touched our lives, we've chosen to keep this a very intimate gathering. If someone you expected to see isn't here, please know decisions were made with intention. That one took the longest. Because it said everything without saying anything. After I saved the changes, I closed the laptop and sat still for a moment, staring out the window at the vines bathed in golden afternoon light. Guests would be arriving soon. Bella would be in her dress. Ryan would be adjusting his tie. I imagined her reading that program and seeing my name. I imagined her panic. I imagined Ryan realizing, too late, that I hadn't slunk away quietly like I usually did. That should have been enough. But something still twisted inside me. A cold coil of humiliation that refused to loosen. The fact that I'd been used, worked like hired help and then shown the door, wasn't just cruel. It was calculated. They didn't forget me. They planned to exclude me. And I knew how their family machine worked. In a few days, there'd be curated Instagram posts and glowing captions. People would ask why I wasn't in the photos, and Bella would probably say I was busy with work or not a fan of crowds. So I decided to write the narrative myself. I opened my phone, scrolled through the pictures I'd taken that morning, behind-the-scenes shots I assumed they'd want for memories. One was of the welcome table, before it got cluttered. Another showed the twinkling lights we just finished hanging over the dance floor. I picked 3. Posted them to Facebook with a quiet caption. Beautiful venue. Spent the morning helping set up for my brother's wedding. Wasn't invited to stay, but I'm sure it'll be lovely. No anger. No accusation. Just facts. I put my phone on silent, flipped it face down, and took a long sip of the wine I'd brought with me from home. Let the storm begin. That it was just after sunset when I heard the knock. Not soft. Not angry. Just, persistent. I hadn't turned my phone back on yet, but I knew the timing. The ceremony was over. Dinner would be starting. To the rest of the world, the night was just beginning. I looked through the peephole. It was Ryan. He stood there in his tux, hair slightly tousled, bow tie a little crooked, looking more like a boy who had gotten caught sneaking out than a man who'd just gotten married. He knocked again. "Marissa," he said. "It's me. Can I come in?" I considered not answering. Just letting him stand there. Just letting him feel the quiet for once. But I opened the door. He stepped inside slowly, like he expected chaos, like maybe I'd be crying, throwing things, pacing the room. But everything was neat. My shoes were lined up. The bed was made. My suitcase zipped. Just me. Just silence. He didn't sit. He hovered, holding his hands in front of him like he wasn't sure what to do with them. I didn't know, he said. His voice was softer now. No bravado. No excuses. Bella told me you didn't want to be there. That you were busy. That you offered to help set up and then planned to leave. She said you weren't comfortable with big events. I stared at him. Ryan, do you really think I drove 3 hours, took time off work, booked a hotel, bought a dress, just to hang fairy lights and leave? His face crumpled, just slightly. His shoulders dropped. I didn't think about it. I didn't question it. I just believed her. She said not to make a big deal out of it. I let out a breath through my nose. Not a sigh. Not a scoff. Just a slow exhale of disbelief. You didn't question why your only sister wasn't in the photos? Why I wasn't seated anywhere? Why I wasn't at the rehearsal dinner? You just went along with it. He looked down at the carpet like it had answers. I wanted the day to go smoothly. Bella said you were okay with it. I didn't want to stir things up. So it was easier to believe I didn't care than to ask me directly. Silence stretched between us. It didn't hurt the way it did earlier. It just felt inevitable. Like a stone finally settling into place. You didn't break this alone, I told him. But you chose who to listen to. And it wasn't me. Ryan didn't argue. For once, he didn't try to justify it. He just nodded. I'm sorry. I didn't say, it's okay. Because it wasn't. You should get back, I said. Dinner's probably starting. He hesitated. Are you coming? I laughed, short, sharp, bitter. No, Ryan. I'm not. He nodded again. This time slower. He looked smaller than I'd ever seen him. Not weak. Just newly aware of something too large to ignore. Before he left, he turned back. I don't know how to fix this. You won't, I said, because you didn't break it alone. But you can start by not letting someone else rewrite who we are to each other. He opened the door and stepped out into the hallway. I didn't cry. I didn't rage. I just sat. 10 minutes later, my phone buzzed. A message from Annie. Did you post that picture? Bella's mom saw it. She's freaking out. So is Bella. Then another. She's asking who edited the welcome packet. She thinks someone tampered with the files. I think she suspects you. I smiled. Just a little. That night, I didn't go back. I didn't scroll through Instagram stories. I didn't respond to the half-hearted texts from distant cousins that said, wait, where are you, or, did something happen? I stayed in. Ate chocolate from the minibar. Watched a baking show and fell asleep with my legs still under the covers. And in the morning, I checked out before breakfast. No dramatic exit. No big farewell. Just the quiet satisfaction of walking away without explaining myself. That afternoon, my mom left a voicemail. Hey honey, just wondering where you went. We missed you at the reception. Hope everything's okay. I deleted it without listening to the rest. 3 days later, Ryan showed up at my apartment. I almost didn't open the door. But something told me this visit wasn't about smoothing things over, it was about facing them. He stood there in jeans and a sweatshirt, holding a small white box. I found this, he said. He handed it to me. Inside was the silver compass bracelet I had given him 6 years ago when he got accepted into a teaching program in Oregon. I hadn't seen it in years. Thought it was lost. "You used to wear this every day," I said softly. "I took it off during the move and forgot where I packed it." He looked down at his hands. "I've been thinking a lot. About how Bella made me feel like loving her meant trimming everyone else away. I told myself it wasn't personal. That she just had a vision." He paused. "But it was personal. It was always personal." He looked up at me again. "I let her rewrite who we were. And I let it happen because it was easier." There it was. Not guilt. Not pity. But something deeper, recognition. I didn't say much. I didn't need to. He kept talking. "She's mad now. Not about the programs. Not even about the Facebook post. She's mad people asked why you weren't there. That her perfect picture cracked. That the illusion broke." He sighed. "I'm not asking you to fix anything. I just wanted you to know, I see it now. I really see it." I believed him. Not because of the box. Not because of the words. But because, for the first time in our lives, Ryan wasn't looking through me, he was looking at me. That was something. Not a fix. Not a repair. But a beginning. He left shortly after. No promises. No timelines. Just a silent agreement that the door was no longer shut. Over the next few months, Ryan started reaching out more. Not for favors. Just to talk. To listen. To show up. Bella never called. They went to counseling. I don't know how that ended. He didn't offer, and I didn't ask. What mattered was this. For the first time in a very long time, I didn't feel like a background character in my own life. Ryan saw me. Not as someone convenient. Not as the support staff. But as his sister. And I didn't let them write me out of the story. I wrote myself back in.